Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed. Along with our engineer, Mike Samsel, we're brought to you by ARIA Health, your friends here in Lower Bucks County. Any need of having to use ARIA Health, well, that's the place to go. They're there to take care of you. They're ready and willing to help you as best they possibly can, and they can do a real good job for you. Whenever you need their assistance, give a call to ARIA Health. They're your friends right here in Bucks County. Going to be talking to Galen Snyder today about the upcoming game. Of course, they have Council Rock South on the ledger for this week. And before we get to talk about that a little bit, we'll go back and talk about the previous game just played, the one against Harry Truman. And I know I talked to a couple of your kids after the ball game, and I talked to Micah Mollahan, and he was honest about it, and I was glad that, Micah is very well spoken, I might say. And he was very good about the fact that he felt that you kind of came in taking this one a little bit lighter. He said, as I mentioned to him, you played 3 tough teams. You got 2 wins out of the 3. How did you come in here? What do you think of that happened that first half? And he said, I think we just came in, kind of thinking that we were just going to win this ball game, and we thought it would happen from the start to the finish. And he said, and they proved us wrong, that we have to be ready to play, and that's what they did in the second half. But we talked about this even before we went on the air, and every level, Coach, when it comes to high school, college, or pro, you get to the point where sometimes you beat some good teams, and you're on a roll, and then all of a sudden you come up against a team that you're favored to beat. But a lot of times it takes a while to get into your system to realize, hey, we're in a ball game just like any other.
Yeah, I believe at least that's what the guys were telling us after the game, and even before the game, I know I talked to one of the guys on Thursday after practice, and at the end, and I was walking out of the locker room, as was he, and I said to him, I said, are you guys ready? He says, yeah. He says, yeah, Coach, we're ready. He goes, I know you guys are worried about Truman, but we're not really worried. We got him, we got him, that kind of thing. And I said, and it's something as a coach, you speak to him the entire week about it. I said to him, listen, Truman, they're improved. They don't, they get fired up to play Pennsbury, especially after last year. We beat them like 50-2.
Yeah.
But forever. I used to coach at Truman, and I can tell you that they've always, kind of, really looking forward to playing Pennsbury and trying to knock off Pennsbury, and they did when I was there. So I know that's the case, and I knew what we were going to face from that standpoint. Saying all that, I don't think we were that down. I think they were sky high. I don't think we were that down, but I do think we mentally made too many mistakes in the first half.
Yeah.
We left a lot of points on the board, some passes that should have been caught, some plays where we did have big plays that, we had penalties that brought them back, including like a 75-yard touchdown run. So I don't know if it's necessarily, different players had different perspectives on it, but I think in its totality, looking at the thing from a total perspective, we weren't focused enough to play.
I think that's a good word. I think what it comes down to is maybe mentally you're not thinking about it, but really you kind of don't come ready for the whole ball game. It's like you're getting up, but you're not getting up full speed the way you think you have to until you realize you're in a game that you have to put out full speed.
Yeah, and you're right. And one of our assistants, Dave Sanderson, he said to me, the Truman coach, his job's a lot easier than your coach because he can get his team fired up, but it's almost like whatever we say to them, it's like, wow, okay, coach,
Yeah.
But then when you get into it, now it's 7.5.
Yeah.
Now you go to the locker room, you say, now do you believe us? Now you understand the situation. So.
Yeah, you look at that too. I think one of the things, and I mentioned that during the game, is the fact that they've got enough breakaway threats over there that Truman can come up and surprise some people.
I think so. I think they have a very senior-laden team. A lot of good, they have a couple good underclassmen, but they have for them 19 seniors,
which is a lot.
And some of those kids have been playing since they were sophomores. So. I'm getting to see some more of the teams in the league. I haven't seen everybody yet, but I'm getting there. And based upon what I see, they're definitely, in there with to win, some games, there's some teams that I think they can go either way with.
Yeah.
If they show up, play well, don't turn the ball over, they got a shot.
You look at a game like this where you're in a dogfight with a team that's 7-7 at the half, and you're the favorite, say, coming into the ball game. What you tell the kids basically at halftime, and who really were the guys that you might say draw this team together in the second half and said, hey, let's wrap it up now, let's do it?
Well, I had a lot to say at half. But, I just think a lot of the kids on the team, we have some good senior leadership. I think our quarterback, Brian, is a good local leader as well. And I just think after I said my piece, all those guys kind of stepped up and did what they had to do. It was just a case of us doing what we needed to do, coming out and playing with the type of passion that you have to play and focus. You got to have both components. You got to have the passion and focus. I don't necessarily think that we weren't playing with passion. I think we were. I think our focus was very much off in that game, and at least in the first half. But in the second half, we turned it on and pulled away.
You do have some leaders. I mentioned Mike Obamahan as one. Another guy, certainly, and talking to him, he's another one that I think is a real good leader for you. And maybe unsung, and I want to get him on the air after one of these ball games because he does a lot of things that I'm sure you see that maybe doesn't get credit for it. That's Elliot Muka, your tight end. He's another guy that I think they can count on as being one of their leaders. And he does a job and doesn't say anything about what he's doing. I watch him down there, and this kid I think is unsung.
Well, I mean, Elliot and Mike are the two types of guys that you really need on that offensive line. I mean, Elliot's playing tight end, but he's just as important as the offensive line with the blocking. But they're smart kids, they're tough kids, they're hardworking kids. They're kids who know what their responsibilities are, and you need kids like that on the team. They're mature, and they're grounded, and they provide great leadership for us.
One of the things you mentioned, that game wasn't going the way you had anticipated maybe in the first half of it. Also, we mentioned the fact that we hadn't seen, either of these ball clubs really turn out to have the penalties and have the mistakes that had happened the previous few weeks. It seemed like it all came out in that ball game.
Yeah, and especially in the first half for us, we didn't take care of the ball. We had penalties. Just things that we hadn't been doing all year, really, and all of a sudden it was all coming together in one terrible half of football, and sometimes those things happen, and obviously this week, the idea was, hey, we got to come out more ready to play here in the first half, coming up to this game.
Okay, we're going to be back with more coming your way here with the Galen Snyder Show right after this.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back again here with the Galen Snyder Show. Of course, the Falcons this week going to be taking on the Council Rock South Ball Club. And of course, Vince Bedison's team likes to run the football for the most part, but they've been doing a pretty good job of being able to throw it up there as well and get some good receptions. And certainly their quarterback, Greg Paprocki, has done a nice job so far for them as far as that goes. And of course, this is a team, when you look at it and you're playing a Pennsbury Ball Club that is tough in all phases. You're looking at what the Council Rock South Golden Hawks are going to try to do, and you got to figure that they like the ground game. Vince Bedison would like to keep it on the ground. He also wants to keep it on the ground to keep it away from your offense.
Sure, ball control offense. They run the triple option, and it goes back to Vince, Coach Bedison's days with his father.
Right.
Running the wishbone offense. They mix a good mixture of options, some power football, and also, if they need to, they can throw the ball a little bit. And, you know, Vince has been running this successfully there for a number of years,
Right.
and had some great success a couple of years ago when they made it to the district finals. And you know, so it's going to be a nice challenge for us.
You know, you look at this, and I'm looking down on some of the guys here at big games for them, and David Hahn is one. They also have in there, Thomas McGovern has had a good year for them so far. And you look at that, and Pat Rocky, as I said, has been able to get the ball to some of these receivers, so they're not afraid now to throw it up there once in a while. But certainly with this ball club, you're anticipating that they're going to try to keep it on the ground.
I believe so, yes. Pat Brocky's a good quarterback running that offense for him. He can throw and run. He's a threat to run a little bit more so than maybe some of the quarterbacks we've seen thus far. No doubt he's better run than them. Tyler Anderson is sort of a breakaway back for him. I'm impressed with what I see out of him. He's in the backfield and also his own specialties. And of course, Eric Gallo
Right.
is a big lineman, two-way player. He's committed to go to Virginia Tech. So they have some ball players, there's no doubt about it, and they present some threats.
Have you been able to scout them? Someone else maybe if you didn't get to a ball game that maybe to tell you about what they're doing this year, and why would they be having the problems they're having as far as that goes and getting a lot of points? This last game, they got themselves 35 because the opposition got 42 and Ben Salem beating them.
Right. Yeah, I was at the last game. It was on Saturday, and we had played on Friday night. And you know, that was a game that they got off to a lead. They were up 20-7, and then it just you know, Ben Salem fought back, and you know, they just had trouble responding. And you know, I don't know if it was fatigue or whatever the case may be, but you know, like I said, a real good start out of this, you know, for them, but they just kind of went away. But I see them, and you know, I see the threats. I see they have some good players. I know that they're a little young, you know, so they're kind of. I anticipate that they'll get better as the season goes, as the kids get more experience. And but you know, they definitely have the potential to beat anybody.
You know, when you look at your offense and what you can do, you know, so far, and the combination of you can throw it with Breon Clark, you got the receivers. Of course, you like to keep it on the ground too. What do you think, having seen this Council Rock South Ball Club, what do you think really works best for your offense? Where do you think you really could have the, you know, that opportunity to really move the ball on?
Well, I think you know, they've given up some yards against the run.
Right.
You know, they've switched their defense. They're running an odd stack this year. I would say for the last 10 years they've been a 4-4 team, and so you know, it seems like maybe the transition is affecting them as far as, you know, stopping the run. We'll see what they do this game. They could come out and surprise us and go back to the old 4-4 that they've been running, but that's where I see that them, you know, us really having some success going at it. But we'll mix it up. We're going to put the ball in the air some too, and we'll see how it goes. You know, the more success we have with either phase of it, the more we'll do it. So, you know, we'll go with what's working.
You know, one thing we mentioned about your ball club, yeah, I look from week to week, and like I said last week, is the fact that you've got guys like Chuck Snorway, of course, who can take it to the house anytime at all. You got Raheem Thompson, who is another burner once he gets a little bit of an opening there. And I said each one of these guys are going to get their opportunity during the course of the year, even though they have to share the ball, because you've got 3 good runners back there along with Breon Clark, your quarterback. But Ronquay Smith, it was his turn, I guess, this week. He had himself a big ball game with 4 TDs.
He certainly did. Ronquay had a little bit of a rough first quarter, but I would say from the second quarter on, he ran hard, he ran physical, he was quick. You know, he was the momentum changer for us offensively. He was the guy who took the ball and really got the hard yards and got the job done.
You know, when you look at it there, and if you're going to defense your own ball club, you know, who are you thinking of trying to stop? You can't really try to say we're going to stop Ronquay or we're going to stop Snorway. You think about a little bit if you were defending your own team, you know, what's that like with the fact that you've got 3 guys back there who can carry the ball and can score anytime?
Yeah, we have the 3 guys. They both, you know, you really can't stack up against one guy, stack the side against one guy, and of course you also have the quarterback,
right,
and the opportunity to get the ball down the field to guys like Ciotti and Cruz, and that's coming too. We're going to get, you know, we we've been a little, haven't quite been as efficient as we were last year putting the ball up in the air, but that's going to come with time. So to answer your question, I mean, if you look at it, we're averaging about 35 points a game thus far, and I don't really have a good answer for you because, it's just this is going to take a type of situation where the team can come out and play us in a balanced defense and have enough players on both sides, on the left side and the right side in order to slow us down.
Yeah, what I'm looking at is that you really can't. What I'm getting at is that nobody can really stack up on any one guy in your situation. A lot of times you have that one guy who's the basic ball carrier for the ball club. So yeah, you can spy him or you can do something. But when you got an array of backs, it kind of makes it tough because you got to play it wide open with the idea that you got to be ready for anything.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and definitely makes it tougher for a defensive coordinator.
When you look at your defense from day one, which of course we thought the first game they had their toughest ball game. There were 9 new guys in there on that defense. Tell us your thoughts about the defense now that you're getting this far along. You've played 4 games so far, and the defense seems to be getting better each and every week.
No doubt, we're improving. The Easton game was tough, as you said, especially the first quarter. I thought we played a better second half against Easton, no doubt. And we continue to get better every week. I'm very pleased with the progress, and I think we're going to continue to improve. We got Dalton Hose back in the mix last week. He stepped up, and he actually got our Defensive Player of the Game honors, which the coaching staff gives out awards each week. Dalton was in on about 15 tackles for us. He was, and we've had lots of other guys play steady throughout the first 4 weeks. But obviously we have to continue to improve in all areas.
Because we know guys like Dalton. You knew you were expecting him, to be a tough ball player. You got Brendan Campbell in there. There's another one, Victor Delgado. Who are some of the guys out of this new group that you had on defense to start the season who really impressed you up to this point?
Well, I mean, you started off with some of the seniors up front, like Burt Robinson and Mata Joshua. You get a guy like John Jakimowicz, who had been playing linebacker for us, who we now moved down to defensive end since Dalton's come back from injury. You got a guy like Jack Kinney, who's a sophomore, who we weren't sure where he was going to be. He came in. He started off all of our games thus far and played pretty well, actually. And very, pleasantly pleased with what we've seen from Jack. He's quietly done his job, a great job. Anthony Pitt is another new player who's stepped into his role and done a good job. Robert Daly is a kid we did expect a lot from. He's a sophomore, and he hasn't disappointed. He's really done well for us. And another one is Jordan O'Neill. His brother Austin is a starting tackle, offensive tackle. Jordan got the opportunity again to step up and play some linebacker for us, and he's done a nice job.
All right, so we're going to be back with more here with the Galen Snyder Show right after this from Aria Health.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back again here with the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed, and we're going to be talking to Coach about, of course, this upcoming ball game that's coming up here with Council Rock South. Coach, one of the things, of course, you're coming up a team. Vince Bettison is a good coach. You know that he's maybe going through some trying times, trying to get on the win column right now compared to what happened, to him a couple of years ago when he was at the top of the mountain and was really looking sharp and went deep into the playoffs. When you look at this game, you got to look at it and say, hey, we know this is going to be a tough ball game. It's not going to be easy because he's coming out looking for that very first win of the year, and he'd like nothing else than to get it against you.
One name I forgot from the last segment too is Quinn Fenners.
Oh yeah, he's both sides of the ball. He's been able to do it.
Right. With regard to Vince, you know, Vince always does a good job. They got a very experienced staff, a group that's been with Vince for a lot of years, and you know, I know it's killing them right now. You know, starting out slow again. I think they got into a situation where, you know, last year they had some youth and they had some injuries to some key guys, some seniors and such. This year they're a young team again, you know, and so they're going through their growing pains. But you know, I'm confident their staff will pull them together and they'll finish strong like they did last year. But you know, not this week, hopefully. You know.
Well, when you look at it, then certainly, okay, they played a Ben Salem team, but Ben Salem had played some real tough competition as well before the season started with non-league games. And you know, they put up 35 points on them. They had the lead there for a while. So you got to figure that maybe they're feeling good about themselves now, more so, as you said, coming along during the course of this season. And it's tougher maybe to get this team as the season rolls on.
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, they're talking, they're saying, hey, you know, Truman was with them at halftime, and you know, because as a coach, you try to find things to motivate your team, you know, to put it in perspective where they believe they have an opportunity to win the game, and then once you get into the game, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm sure they're talking to them about those things, and you know, they're 0-1 in the league. That's the other way to look at it. You know, and this is their second league game, a chance to, you know, go 500. So, you know, that's what they're looking for.
And we're looking at, not to look ahead, of course, but we're looking at the season now as teams have all had the good 4 games under their belt, and you look at what they've been able to do. Council Rock North, of course, was along with Abington. I thought that was the game of the week last week, and boy, the Abington Galloping Ghosts really got it together. Craig Reynolds and the group played just a tremendous ball game against them, probably, undoubtedly, their best game of the year. And you look at the Chamonix, and the Chamonix unbeaten coming up to this stage and looking to keep it rolling right now. So you got some teams that you expect. Council Rock North is still in the thick of it with 1 loss. You also, of course, have those other teams that we mentioned there as well. So the league is shaping up, you know, to where it's going to be some battles here as we go along.
No doubt, Council Rock North, I think in that game with Abington, they were inside Abington's 5 2 times and didn't come away with any points. Abington obviously looked strong. I know you selected them to win that game.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be...
I honestly thought that was going to be a really close ball game. I really did. I thought it would be one of those games that could go down to the wire. I was surprised at the outcome. I really was.
Well, you never know. As they get going, you know, from what I understand, Abington really played well. And,
yeah.
So, you know, it's week to week. You never know how the kids are going to play week to week. You know, obviously Abington was fired up, ready to go. So they're a strong team. I've seen the Chamonix; they're a very strong team, and so it is shaping up to be quite an interesting league. It'll be interesting to see how teams like Ben Salem got the win, match up against Truman, who showed some improvement, and then, you know, Rock South. I fully expect them to get it going. I'm sure by the time they hit Rock North the last game, that should be a battle like it is every year. So we'll see.
All right, we're getting ready for our ball game tonight, of course, and that's Pennsbury against the Golden Hawks of Council Rock South. For the Galen Snyder Show, I'm Vince Reed.